is how you've got to live just with gratitude and be thankful for the moment. And he talks about in this one video, he said, you got to live in the present. And so many times he'll catch himself dwelling about the past or thinking too much about the future and worrying about the future and worrying about money and, making plans or what do I do? And it distracts you from being in the present. And he talks in these videos from 2 years ago that his daily focus, and he says it in the video, it's so funny, he said, I know, he goes, if anybody's watching this, I'm doing this because I'm talking to myself, because I might be the only one to ever go back and watch these videos. So I'm telling myself, stay in the present, because you never know when your last moment's going to be.
Well, that's true.
And
I have to tell you, I read something literally just this morning, that when things are going to happen, no matter what, that's life, right?
Yeah.
And no matter what happens, when it does, if you can give yourself maybe 5 minutes at the most, if you're gonna, get upset about it for a minute, whatever, then that's it. You just cut it off at like 5 minutes, and then you say, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And
Can
you
I
better
change
go.
it? Is there any?
If
you're worrying
change
about
it, I
something,
can't change it.
can I? Is there anything I can do to change that? And
Right.
if the answer is no, move on.
Move on, right.
Absolutely. And then focus your time on things that you can change. And one thing he also talks about as well in his videos is, his focus every day is to think about somebody and reach out to them. And he'll send a text to somebody and maybe he hasn't talked to in 3 or 4 years, and he'll say, hey buddy, just thinking of you, how's your day going? And he said, and they might not respond to me immediately, they might not respond at all, they might respond 2 weeks later, but it doesn't matter, because at that moment they got your text and they saw that you were thinking of them.
That's
And,
right.
and it just lifts people up, and that's just the kind of person he was, is just a lifter,
That's a good
there's
thing. That's a
elevators
beautiful thing.
and there's
Right, and there are not a lot
people-
of men like that, though.
There's two kinds of people in this world, and those are people that put people in elevators going up and elevators going down.
Very true.
And everybody in his elevator was going straight up,
And how do we use
and,
people like that? You know what I'm saying?
There's so
amazing.
few of people like that in the world.
Exactly.
I might use that line, I'm gonna come
Here's
back
another
in on
one.
that line, that was really good.
Things are gonna happen no matter what. You're gonna either control it or it's gonna control you. So that's another thing that you have to think about. Here we go.
All right, Phoenix metro area. You know what I just found out? That Wolf,
I love Roland.
Ron,
I love you.
I just found out Ron Wolfley, he's calling them Basinonians because they're the base of the sports team. He's always like, all right, Masononians. And I'm like, is he saying Masononians? Like,
That's
who
what
is
I
he
thought
talking
you
to?
just said.
Basinonians. And I'm like, and I don't know if it's that because we're in the basin. I think he calls Phoenix the basin. But I also think because it's a sports show, on that other sports channel, and he's talking about Basinonians because the listeners are the base, the fan base of all the sports that he talks about. But I'll tell you what, I'm looking at an 1100 KFNX radio. Can you get that over there? Can we
right
get
here.
that?
We
We're
have it
live
on
on
right behind
Facebook.
you. We
Get
got
that
it
over there.
there.
There's this. Oh, it's right here.
Right
Here's the
behind
sign.
you.
Look at
There you go.
it. It says news, talk, and sports. And let me tell you something. The only live sports that you're going to get on 1100 AM KFNX radio, there's 2 hours a year, and it's opening day at the Phoenix Open, and it's Friday at the Masters, and it's only with me, Roland Bennett, and Carol Blonder, my lovely blonde on the left here. And it is so fun doing this show because I get to bring golf to the world. I'm so excited about bringing golf to the world. I'm the director of golf operations also at Cicero Prep Academy. I coach middle school. I coach varsity golf. And the athletic director every year says, hey, coach, when are we starting the season? It's spring sports are starting. I said, we're not starting until the Phoenix Open's over. And so we're starting next week. But again, this is February 6th. Happy birthday, Lori. She celebrated, my wife, celebrated her birthday yesterday
Happy birthday,
at the
Lori.
Pro-Am out there with her group of girls, and
Aw.
I know they had an awesome time. They go every Wednesday, I go on Friday, the family goes on Sunday, and then we watch it all day on Saturday, and obviously enjoy it. It's just so gorgeous out there if you get a chance to go out there. But today's show, following the tour, covering the 2025 Waste Management Phoenix Open, today's show is a full 100% dedication to Sonny Rock, and we were just talking about Sonny over the break there, and you know what summed it up is that there's two kinds of people in this world. There's kinds of people that will put you in an elevator going up, and there's kinds of people that will put you in an elevator going down. And Sonny was one of those guys that every person in his life is going in an elevator up, and he's the one pressing the button and lifting people up and sending everybody up. So
That's awesome.
it's just what an honor and a joy. And
How long did you know him?
27 years. He was my trainer of my first telemarketing job in college back in Iowa.
Wow, I could see you doing that.
And he was
In Iowa.
he was inspiring back then. But he is an elevator up kind of guy, and today's show is dedicated to him and his family for sure. And we're gonna get out to the golf here because we got a lot of golf out there. They're calling it the greatest show on grass. Justin Thomas is still leading. He's 5 under. We got a three-way tie at the lead here. We've got Justin Thomas at 5 under. He's in the clubhouse. We've got Christian Buzenhoots, by the way, is his last name. Spelled
That's
Bezuidenohout. Buzenhoot. He's South African. And he is tied for the lead at 5 under. He's got one more hole to play right now, so he could. I'm not sure what he's doing right now because I don't happen to be on the 9th hole right now. But if I was, I would tell you exactly what club he's chosen. He's probably using a putter if he's on the green. Anyway, he is tied for the lead. He's 5 under par, chasing Justin Thomas. Nikolai Hogard, 5 under par. We got Jack Knapp at 4 under par. Kurt Kitayama, David Skins, Kurt Kitayama, two-way tie for 4th at 4 under. We've got a whole slew of people at 3 under par, including Jordan Spieth, crowd favorite Jordan Spieth, Will Chandler, lots of local guys. Do you
Who's
have any
the
idea
underdog?
how many PGA Tour players live in Scottsdale, Arizona,
A
around
lot.
the valley? It is unbelievable. And I do love the PGA Tour. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the PGA Tour and about LIV and, et cetera, et cetera. And it was funny. I ran into a LIV player, and I'm not going to say his name because, he's one of those guys that I feel like if I told this story and said his name, that he would sue me for all the hundreds of dollars that I have for
don't say his name.
blasphemy or whatever they call that, character slander or whatever. But anyway, I see him at this Royal India restaurant in Scottsdale, and I come up to him and I said, hey man, I said, how you doing, Pat? And he says, he goes, hi. I said, hey, my name's Roland Bennett, and I know this sounds kind of weird, but, I coach golf. I've got varsity golf kids, and I have this photo album on my phone of all the PGA Tour guys that I see around town, and if there's a way I can get a picture, because my kids and my golf team love
Don't
seeing.
tell me he wouldn't let you
When
do
I
it.
see when I
hate
show
that when guys
when I
are
show
like
my kids that look at this PGA guy, the golfer that I got, and so I have this album. I said, would I be able to, do that? He goes, yeah, but I'm not a PGA guy. I said, well, you're Pat Perez, right? And he goes, yeah, but I'm not a PGA. He goes, I'm a LIV guy. I said, you know what I mean, Pat. You're one of the greatest golfers of all. You're a great golfer. You're a professional golfer. Let me get a picture, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
And so he did. He let me get
That's
a picture.
nice.
He's
I'm
a cool
glad
guy.
he
He's
did.
a local favorite. I don't think I'm going to get any lawsuits on that one. But if you come after me, Pat, not a lot of blood in that turnip. Don't worry about it. I've got a truck with 98,000 miles on it that you might be able to get. But anyway, we're going to take you right back out. You asked me a question. Who's the underdog?
Right.
And anytime you have any PGA event, it's always the amateurs. Because
I
it's
like
so
them.
rare for an amateur to win a tournament. I think Nick Dunlop was the last amateur to actually win a PGA tournament. And then before that, it was like in the 90s when Phil Mickelson won a tournament as an amateur. So it's very, very rare for amateurs because what that means is they don't get any money. They don't get paid because they're not professionals.
Unless they win.
No, you
Even
don't.
if they win,
If you're in
can't, 'cause you're
amateur
an amateur?
status,
Oh
you
my
do
God.
not make any money. The next because you're an amateur, you're not a
So no one
professional.
wins?
So when they win, they're like, well, I better be a professional, and then then they go and try to win again. But there's some amateurs out there. There is one kid, Luke Clanton, is out there as an amateur. Shot 3 over par. He's tied for 100. Probably not going to make the cut. But you come out here to a bomber's paradise at TPC Scottsdale, dude. You better. But that's what golf has come. I mean, all of these kids. I tell my kids on the team, man, you got to learn to putt. I mean, if you want to be a good golfer,
Well, that's
you
the
have
hardest
to
thing for
love
anyone.
putting, because all of these guys are smashing the ball. Everybody's hitting the ball a long way. Everybody's a great iron player. Everybody's got a short game. The difference of who wins these tournaments is who makes the putts. Period. So I'm telling you, if you're an aspiring player out there, and you're like, man, I love this game. I'm getting frustrated. My scores aren't, where I want them to be. I just hit a 90 something. If you want to shoot lower scores in golf, then take 90% of the time that you're practicing, which for most people is 0 time practicing. But if you are practicing, take 90% of that time and putt and chip. So out of your 90% practice, 75% of that should be putting. The other 25% of your 90% should be chipping. You need to chip it and putt it. If you can learn to chip and putt.
Do you teach?
I coach middle school, and I coach, and I've got Coach Jonathan Liss, who is a professional private golf instructor at McCormick Ranch. He's my assistant coach on both teams. Blake Follansby teaches. He's one of my assistants for varsity. We've got the greatest coaching staff in all of varsity golf in all of Scottsdale, maybe the entire state of Arizona. We've got the greatest staff. They're calling it the greatest golf staff. But between Jonathan and Blake, they're such. I hope they're online right now listening. But I teach. It's fun. But let's go out to the course here, because we've got a lot going on, and we've got. Let's come in. Chandler Phillips, a name nobody's ever heard of, is on the 9th hole. It's his 18th hole of the day. And we are catching up to him. He's 1 under par, tied for 23rd. He's got a birdie putt, and he is trying to make it to 2 under par to join a very large list of people in the top 15. And he takes the putter back and makes his stroke, and the ball is breaking right to left, and it looks like it's tracking it. Oh, it lipped out! It lipped out. He's going to have a tap-in par to finish the day at 1 under. Chandler Phillips is in a tie for 23rd. He might be the biggest underdog, because that's a name I've never heard of. But that's what happened when the LIV started. You get a lot of these new players. I mean, that's the best thing that's happened to the PGA Tour. For players that have been struggling to make it on the PGA Tour, they love the LIV, because it got so many players off the PGA Tour.
Right.
It opened up that possibility. And if you want to talk about possibility, let's talk about the possibility of you being a homeowner, because let me tell you something. If you are renting a house right now, I talk to a lot of people, and they're like, I'm just so nervous about having a mortgage. I've just never had a mortgage before. Well, let me tell you something. If you're renting a house, you're paying a mortgage. It's just not yours. You're paying somebody else's mortgage.
And
Why would you do that?
much.
Why wouldn't you pay your own mortgage and build your own equity and have your own tax deduction? And that's what I show people how to do. So I got a QR code here. If you get on Facebook, you can apply.
Your phone number.
But stick around. We got 1 segment left. We'll be right back.
Okay, keep on going.
Oh, we got to do this when we get back.
Okay. Keep on going.
All right. We'll keep on going. We'll, it's funny. I
love
call
that
it.
when you do that.
I call it live play-by-play coverage, and then I don't ever do any play-by-play.
I know.
So, I didn't.
That was good what you just did.
Yeah, I completely made it up.
I know you did. I know you did.
I'll make some more stuff up like that. That's pretty good.
It was
Because these
great.
people can't see.
Because they can't.
Because it's not on TV. They can't watch, and it's not like the Masters where you can watch
Right,
every
no,
single
but you
shot.
did
But
good.
we're not making stuff up. Hold on, Facebook. Where I did.
No.
I did make that
I have to
up.
say-
The last one.
I have to say, as you started on, I thought that's what you were doing, and I'm looking, and I'm like,
But if you are on Facebook, go to my Instagram. It's you can find me Roland Bennett Loans Instagram handle. I hate social media, honest to God. I've got 2 teenage daughters. I've got a 14-year-old. I've got a daughter that's turning 13. I despise social media. But you know what? I've learned that I need to be on social media because all the Xennials and the Gen Zs and all them, that's where they go. That's where they go. And you know what? With the, I see it in my whole house.
I want to ask you,
You know what women do at night?
homes?
You know how women stress out at night after you've gone through your day and you've done your thing. Maybe you did some yoga, maybe you had some wine or whatever, and you put your jammies on. Maybe you watch your favorite show, maybe you don't. You lay in bed. Guess what happens? Bam! Here comes the scroll.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just this.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I
all
know.
it is.
I hate when people come over for
Hours
dinner
and
do
hours
that.
and hours. They come over to your house and
For
scroll
dinner.
social?
Yeah,
At your house?
yeah.
What the hell are
My
you talking
ex-husband,
about?
who we're really good friends, comes over all the time. First thing, boom.
Oh my gosh.
What are you doing over there?
That's horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to
Well, that's 'cause
somebody's
he's
house,
my
you
ex
leave your
now,
phone
you
in
know.
your pocket. I mean, that's just common courtesy,
I
right?
know. Well,
I
there
mean,
you go.
But they scroll, right? And so if somebody's like stressed out because their loan is not going through and they might not get their house, I gotta be on their scroll. I gotta somehow get in. Maybe I can help somebody. Maybe I can,
I
you know,
saw
and
what you were
hopefully
doing,
I'm
and I
getting
thought
some
that would be
information.
good.
I'm
No.
giving some, so what I'm trying to do on social media is give some information that people don't know. Like, people have heard Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, but they
I
don't know
love that
what
one.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac
Like
are.
that's what
Who
he
is
said.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? What is debt to income ratio?
Right.
What do you mean I need to add on a co-borrower? What does that mean? What credit score do I need to be at to get the lowest rate? Because you said you're going to get the lowest rate. So how do I get the lowest rate? How much do I have to put down to have the lowest rate? You know, how can I, if I'm a 700 credit score, how can I be an 800 credit score? So I'm going to start pushing stuff like that out there.
I think what makes you great too is that you're a numbers guy. You know, you didn't hear me, but I said you're a numbers guy, and
Yeah.
you know how to work them. Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's, I just got a text. I don't know how he knows it, but it came from my dear old dad. Hi, Dad, how are you? And he said, lots of people are listening. Lots of people are listening. So thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate that. If you are
Hi,
out there
Dad.
online, if you're listening
your
online,
son.
if you're watching on Facebook Live, if you're listening to 1100 AM radio, however you're listening, we appreciate you tuning in because it's opening day at the Phoenix Open. It's day 1. We've got 3 players tied at 5 under. This is the craziest golf tournament on the entire planet of all tours. You go to the DP World Tour, you go to LIV, you go to the PGA, you go to the LPGA, you go to the Corn Ferry Tour, you go anywhere. Go anywhere and try to find a tournament that brings in 600,000 people to watch. Now, granted, 575,000 of those people have no idea golf is being played, but for the ones that do, it is the most crazy, wild, bizarre spectacle. That's what it is. It's a spectacle. Because hole 16, hole 17, and hole 18 have about 90% of the people that go in there, they just go straight, if they can get up into the 16, oh my God, are they drinking? I'll tell you what, if you're in recovery, if you're a recovering alcoholic like I am, you might want to stay away from the Phoenix Open unless you're there with like a wingman that can help you out. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
It can get crazy. You know, my wife goes every single Wednesday with her friends to the Pro-Am, and they have wristbands. And they give you the wristband, and you only get, and they're supposed to scan the wristband when you go in, and it only allows 12 drinks on the wristband. And I'll tell you what, there's not many people that, walk straight after 12 drinks in the sun. So it's like, then they complain, then the tournament goes, oh my gosh, it's just unacceptable, the drunken behavior out there. Well, you just shoved 12 drinks down some lightweight's belly, and then you expect him not to be an idiot? I don't know. It's one of those things. It's one of the, I promised you about 45 minutes ago we were going to talk about cup snakes. Here's the funny thing. I'm going to take you through a progression of things that happen at the 16th hole. If anybody remembers 2 or 3 years ago, Sam Ryder hit a hole-in-one. And
On the
lots of
16th
people,
hole?
lots of people have hit holes in one there. Tiger Woods famously hit one in 1999. That was before they had any of the booths up there. Betty Royal, if you're listening, Betty was there,
Betty's your good
sitting
friend.
on the hill while they were watching that. And then now they got everything built up, and now you have 3 levels. It's a triple-decker corporate seats that wrap almost all the way around. Every year there's more seats. It's bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Everybody's drinking, right? And so Sam Ryder hits this hole-in-one, and what happens? About 50,000 beer cans are thrown out onto the green. It's a beer shower, and I was not there because it was on Saturday and I go on Friday, and that's what everybody wants to see. You go to the hockey game to see the fight, you want to see the car crash at the NASCAR, and you want to see a hole-in-one at the 16th hole at the Phoenix Open, because when it happens, it is absolute pandemonium. And so they threw all the cans out there, the Coors Light cans that you know, with the screw top. But that could hurt somebody if you got. These guys paid $15 for like a 12-ounce Coors Light, which I don't even know if that's even counts as beer anyway. But they start throwing it out so they're like, okay, we got to put an end to this. We can't have any more beer cans being thrown on the green if somebody gets a hole-in-one. So next year they outlaw the cans. And so then they do cups. So if the vendor, the 16th bleachers, it's like you're at a football game. The guy with the yellow, the vest is coming down with the, hey, beer here, hey, beer, hot dogs, cotton candy. And they've got those vendors going up and down the stands in the 16th. So anyway, now they pour it into a cup and they give you the cup, and so these guys are just...
they let you drink it into the cup.
Well, yeah, they pour it into a cup and give it to you. But now they're throwing the cups. But the cups don't hurt as much as the cans, because they can't be full. So then they're like, okay, well, so what had started happening for the last 2 years? So now what the guys do and this is like a frickin' frat party in the bleachers at the 16th. That's what's I'm just telling you got to go experience. It's so bizarre because 90% of these guys are like frat boys, if you think of that. That's basically what it is. And it's hilarious. It's funny being in there. So then they make these cup snakes, because these guys are drinking like 9, 10, 11, 12 of these drinks. So they've got all these cups, and everybody that leaves a cup, and they start stacking the cups. Oh, God. And then as the cups stack, and it's getting taller, it gets 5 feet long, 10 feet long. I've seen like 30, 40, 50-foot long cup snakes. Then they lift it up and they start passing the cup snake, and everybody's putting the cups in and they're throwing it. And then the security's like, no cup snakes, no cup snakes. Nobody wants the cup snakes. And so they're like, how are you going to stop the cup snake? Like, who cares if there's a cup snake? And somebody's got the beach ball and they're kicking it around there. And then there's always this one security. There's one security guard that just all he does is follow the beach ball down. He's down inside the ropes, down by the green.
That's his job.
All he does is follow, just waiting, just hoping that the beach ball can come in so he can pop it, and then everybody screams at him and spits on him, and hey, boo, you suck. And so now, guess what? This is the first year that you're not going to find a cup snake any longer. If you could probably go on social media, you could go on Instagram, and after you look up Roland Bennett Loans on Instagram, look up #WM Phoenix Open Cup Snake. I bet you could find cup snakes, and it'll be this passing thing.
You'll see it.
But now, guess what they're doing?
No.
There's a new change to the Phoenix Open this year.
What is it?
At the 16th green. You get to have one commemorative cup at the 16th green, and it's a commemorative
They gotta pay for it too,
16th cup, but that's the only one you get to buy. They fill that up for you. You're getting now refills on your one allowed commemorative 16th hole cup. And it's like, they found a way. We're gonna get these cup snakes out of here. Damn it! I would have loved to have been in the board of directors meetings. What are we gonna do about these people? These people are getting so drunk. What are we gonna do? Well, and then somebody goes, well, I'll tell you what we need to do, and that's to put an end to the cup snakes. We can't have any more cup snakes. That looks like so much fun, and somebody's just gonna get bit by the cup snake. They're gonna throw it into the bunker. Which I get. You're not going to be able to throw the cup because none of those idiots...
Everything has to be so politically correct now.
Those guys have to drink like 15 beers that day. And if you throw your commemorative cup, You ain't
can't drink
drinking. You're
anymore.
done. Now you got to go find somebody else or whatever. I mean, it's not going to happen. So nobody's going to be throwing cups. They put it. I mean, that's pretty genius, actually. It's pretty creative. And if you want to talk about creativity, it's how I can turn your loan denial into a loan closing. That's what I do, by the way. I got to plug it. I love numbers and I love creativity, so I play with numbers. And if you like numbers, you're probably a poker player. And so what I have right here, if you call into KFNX or you email or you go online to Phoenix Networking Arizona, and you say, I want the cards, I'm going to mail you personally a deck of cards. I should have been. Well, I just came up with it. We'll do it at the Friday at the Masters.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be back here on the Masters. But I got a deck of
the
cards. They're
green
casino quality cards, folks. They're casino quality. You can play poker. You can play blackjack. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Carol Blonder, thank you so much for having me on here. I am so grateful for you. I appreciate you as a person. I appreciate being here. I appreciate your show. I appreciate KFNX allowing this monstrosity to happen. And I love sharing what happens at the Phoenix Open, especially the 16th out there with people. And if you were on Facebook Live, thanks for tuning in. And my encouragement is to go be the positive light in somebody's life. Right? Like if there's somebody that you're thinking of and you haven't made a contact with or you haven't said hello to in a while, shoot them a text and say, hey man, I'm thinking about you. How you been? Have you been good? You want to grab some coffee? Did you see the game last night? Are you watching the Phoenix Open? Whatever it is, reach out to them because you never know what kind of day somebody's having. And if you're having a day, if you were in Sunny Rock's life and you were having that kind of day, you got that text. And
you know
it made your day better, and it made you better. That's who Sonny Rock was. And today, opening day at the Phoenix Open 2025, dedicated to you, Sonny. Thank you so much for everything you did for everyone in your life. And that's how we're going to sign off on that, Carol.
I will tell you that anytime I'm ever with you, I always feel like I'm in an elevator going up.
Well, that's very kind of you to
That's
say.
the way you are.
Well, you're an up elevator type of person too, and that's what makes this show so fun. And I know that everybody that comes onto your show walks away with that same feeling. So
it's a lot of fun.
You heard it all right here, folks, on 1100 KFNX Radio, your only live coverage of the PGA Tour. And we will be back in April, Friday at the Masters. Carol, thank you. Little sloppy sign off.
It was funny. Oh no, it was great actually. I liked it.
That was so cute.